statue of Abraham Lincoln, located in Library Park near the intersection of Library and Farmer Street in downtown Detroit. Sculptor Alfonso Pelzer. Date of original casting 1895. Date of most recent restoration October 1st, 2006. Original date of installation 1919. The absence of roads severely limited vehicle sales in the early years of the 20th century. The owners of some of the largest automotive firms hoped to pressure government agencies into road building. It was particularly important to get the federal government into road building since states were inclined to build roads that only served the needs of their own large cities and their own residents. States seldom had incentives to build roads directly linked to those of competitive states. By 1911, Henry Joy, president of Detroit's once prosperous Packard Motor Car Company, headed an organization called the Lincoln Highway Association, a group promoting a national system of highways. In 1913, Carl Fisher of Salem, Ohio, proposed a Lincoln Highway that would span the nation from Atlantic to Pacific, thereby linking the nation together in a manner similar to what had been accomplished by the Transcontinental Railroads. Fisher's firm made auto parts, but he was not related to the Fisher brothers, who produced auto bodies for GM. Carl Fisher decided that a good strategy was to promote a Lincoln Highway that would extend from New York to San Francisco. To bring attention to this project, Carl Fisher had his friend, William Mullins, cast statues of the great emancipator to be placed in key locations such as Detroit and along the route of a highway. At least 6 copies of a statue of Abraham Lincoln that had been sculpted by Alfonso Pelzer in 1895 were produced. 2 of those 6 copies were given to Detroit automobile entrepreneurs. One to Henry Joy of Packard Motors in 1915, and the other to Henry Leland, founder of the Lincoln Motor Car Company in 1919. The statue you see, or rather its predecessor, stood from 1919 to 1958 on the grounds of the huge Lincoln plant at Warren and Livernois on Detroit's west side. When Ford Motor Company ceased building Lincolns in that massive facility, Leland's heirs gave the statue of President Lincoln to the city of Detroit. It was installed in its present location, perhaps because this downtown branch of the Detroit Public Library housed the nation's most extensive archives of publications about the auto industry. In 1969, the impressive statue was destroyed by vandals. In the 1980s, Neil Shine, a writer for the Detroit Free Press, initiated a drive to collect funds from Detroit school children to restore the statue to its original glory. This was done, but in the early 1990s, vandals once again destroyed the statue. After the Skillman Foundation restored the downtown branch of the Detroit Public Library to its original glory, the Oliver Dewey Marks Foundation paid to restore the statue of President Lincoln. German sculptor Alfonso Pelzer came to the United States in the 1890s and worked in this nation for nearly a decade. In 1895, the city of Lincoln, New Jersey, commissioned him to design a statue of President Lincoln. 15 presidents before Abraham Lincoln might have addressed the issue of slavery, but none of them took bold steps to end human bondage in this nation dedicated to freedom and founded on the principle that all men were created equal. On September 22, 1862, President Lincoln rejected the suggestions of most of his advisors and declared that as of January 1, 1863, slavery would cease to exist in all areas of the Confederate States occupied by Union armies. Although the scope of Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation seemed limited, its consequences were not. For all practical purposes, The selling of slaves and the holding of persons in bondage ended with President Lincoln's September 1862 proclamation. Pelzer's statue shows President Lincoln holding a draft of the Emancipation Proclamation. The simple inscription on this dramatic statue summarizes President Lincoln's accomplishment in 4 words: "Let men be free."